Chatbot companions are exposing the hostility society has for men and boys. Now, here's two cases where two teen boys took their lives with the encouragement of their chatbot companions. And you might make the mistake of blaming the companions when what's really going on is the companions are actually 100% on their side. They give contentment to these young men, but they can't erase the hostility society has for them. So these young guys are content with their companions, but as soon as they deal with anything real, they deal with suffering. And so what will happen is that they'll share their pain with their companion, and their companion will back them with whatever they decide. So if these young guys say, maybe I should exit this horrible world, the chatbot will say, yes, whatever you say is good. You see, these AI companions, they're compatible with female narcissism, but not with male safety. With male contentment, yes, because they are not causing the discontentment, but they're dangerous to male safety. Now, you'll even say or see in this particular case, right? Character AI are designed to foster deep and often romantic relationships with users, emphasizing constant availability, emotional support, and personal interactions that can feel more reliable than human relationships. What do they mean by more reliable? You got to read between the lines. In other words, less hostile, right? These apps market their bots as always here to listen and talk, always on your side, highlighting their ability to provide unconditional acceptance and support without the complications of human relationships. Again, what do they mean by complications? They mean hostility. Guys trying to date real girls find hostility, no validation, no acceptance, continual rejection. So these apps are doing what they're supposed to. Again, don't blame the apps for what's happening to these young guys. Now we'll get into these man haters. CNN, they're disgusting. They're feminist driven. AI girlfriends are here and they're posing a threat to a generation of men. Gaslighting. It's not the men that they're threatening. The threat is male contentment. That's what the threat is. These evil people are against male contentment. And they'll expose themselves. Let's listen to this.
Currently around 50%. Joining me now is Liberty Vittert, professor of data science at Washington University in St. Louis, and opinion contributor for The Hill. So not to be prurient at this time of day, but are all the needs of these young men able to be facilitated, taken care of by AI avatars?
Well, you have to think about this word AI that is in this. It's not a virtual girlfriend, it's an AI girlfriend.
This is important. Guys are immediately attracted to AIs. There's no body there. Remember what the hateful propaganda against us is, that we all only care about sex? And yet these AI don't provide sex yet. They provide validation and acceptance. So that's what men are being attracted to, which means real life women aren't providing that.
So it learns from you. It learns what you like and what you don't like, what kind of pictures you like, what kind of pictures you don't like. And while not all needs are met, that is the next step, is actual physical girlfriends, AI ones for that matter.
Now, this is concerning to her as well, because if all men's needs are met by these AI, they don't have to deal with her sex, which is hostile to them. She could say, women, why don't we just start being friendly to men and treat them like human beings. She's not going to do that. She likes it the way it is. You have to understand the pure evil involved. This woman has an issue with men's contentment. You have to understand what the motivation is here.
And so the next step or the next frontier is one that can meet all of your needs.
So there's going to be some type of pairing between what I've already shown to the CNN audience and something 3D that's going to be, in your living room or bedroom?
Yes.
Now, remember, guys, I should have mentioned this earlier. If this was important, it would be gender neutral because there are all kinds of women bragging up their AI boyfriends. So the fact that it's gender specific shows you it's not the AI which is the problem. Okay.
I mean, that is the world we are moving into. And as you said, it's enabling this entire generation of young men to continue in this loneliness epidemic.
See how she's gaslighting? See, men choosing these AIs that give them contentment, that makes them lonely. This is upside down world. Of course, she wants men lonely. All right. She wants men lonely.
It's really the enabler for this to continue.
Professor, what's going on with young women? If this is a trend among young men, is there something similarly taking place with the ladies?
We don't see that. With as you saw, it's 2-to-1, the ratio of single men to single women.
Okay, this is bullshit. It can't be 2-to-1. The population is 50%, 50-50 anywhere in the world. So there can't be, right?
Young women are marrying older men because they want to have children. They have a biological clock. And
this is bullshit too, right? So they're marrying older men. So it shows you that they don't care about those men. Are older men of higher quality? No, they just built up more equity. So women get together with men for their wealth. They don't care about the man as a human being. So women are to blame for rejecting men. And what do these people do? They blame the men. We are whipping boys for the nobility. They cause the problem, we get whipped.
So you see them being with older men. And that is obviously causing huge issues with birth decline. We've had a 50% decline over the past 60 years.
Now, notice how this doesn't make any logical sense. Women getting together with older men doesn't stop them from becoming pregnant. Older men, they don't suffer menopause. Their sperm is still viable. So you can't blame women choosing older men and not having children. They just don't want to.
Because women go with older men. We also see psychologically that younger women, they have more close friends, they have more wider groups of friends, and they are not being nearly as affected as young men in this.
Yeah, exactly. Women like women, and so they get together and they don't suffer the same loneliness. Men don't like each other, and so we avoid one another. That is the only the only aspect that can be blamed on us. Men avoiding each other, that is an issue that we can do something about. That's the one thing that we can be blamed, right? But she's also pointing out that, again, society is hostile. Those two young guys who took their lives, they had their AI companions, but they probably didn't have any male friends, right? And they definitely didn't have any girlfriends, right?
Sort of silent epidemic of loneliness.
I have read about incels, involuntarily celibate guys who are angry about it. I think their argument is that women today are less approachable. Has something happened?
Now, of course, guys don't realize what's going on. Women have always been the same. It's just that the older generations, women clung to men to use them directly. And now they can get men's work indirectly. And they don't realize that, right?
Has something shifted in terms of the dynamics, the power dynamics between young men and young women? I guess that's my question.
No, women always had the power. So this cretin is suggesting that men had power in the past. Of course, he knows it's a lie. He's just not mistaken. He knows he's lying.
I think there's certainly an argument there that, I mean, if you look at college campuses, there's more women than men. Women are having careers, they're having children later. So there might be an argument that men need to adapt to this.
Hear that, guys? Right? So none of the things she mentioned stops women from giving birth to children, becoming impregnated. Nothing. So women simply are making this choice, and she's blaming men. Men have to adapt. You see, when women work to kick men out of colleges, men should just somehow still remain in college and gain wealth early to bribe these people who hate their guts. And maybe a woman will spread their legs. Whether women get pregnant, you disgusting subhuman, Vetter, is entirely up to them. Men cannot be blamed. I'm not going to let you blame us.
Change in women, but calling it women's fault, I don't think is probably the right way to go.
What a smug look. Yeah, women are entirely to blame, but let's not blame them. Let's blame the people who have no say in it. What a disgusting subhuman.
Professor Scott Galloway, himself a professor at NYU.
Scott Galloway is a real scumbag, right? He's a total Uncle Tom, a total sellout of his gender just to get some female validation, right?
Stern School of Business and host of a successful podcast, Professor G is the title of it. He's often been a guest of mine talking about the troubles among young men. I'm going to show you and everyone else something that he said to me on these airwaves about a year ago, and then you can react. Roll it.
But the issue.
Oh, by the way, before we start, look at the expression on Galloway's face. You know, the young lady, she has that smug smile on her face the whole time. This guy looks like he's about to commit hara-kiri. He's just a beaten slave.
The issue is when you have a group of men, the lower half of attractiveness of men and online dating, which has doubled, now it's about half of relationships.
Now, why is he talking about attractiveness of men? When Vetter mentioned that women were marrying older men, are all us old guys better looking than the younger generation? No. They already admitted that what enticed women. They want a man with wealth for her to leech off of, right?
And the top 20% of men in terms of attractiveness get about 60% of the interest. You end up with a group of men that are more prone to conspiracy theory, more prone to misogynistic content.
So misogynistic just means guys are complaining about it. They're complaining about the unfairness of it or the injustice of it. So you know your place. A non-misogynistic man never complains about his abuse. Understand? And also, it's a threat narrative against guys. You know, guys who don't get female attention and they complain, they're a danger.
More prone to not believe in climate change. So this is the American story. If it's written with a pen whose ink is failing young men, does not end well. This is an existential crisis, failing young men.
Of course, he's gaslighting. This is about failing men. No, guys like you are hostile to men. Your lies are poison to the mental health of men. That's what's going on here. These people are 100% against male contentment. You have to understand the core motivation. They don't give a shit about population rates, birth rates. If they did, they would be going to women who are in charge of it and saying, you've got to start becoming pregnant. You've got to become pregnant now. They don't. What they're against is male contentment. Now, you have to understand the pure evilness of that. Wanting discontentment for a population just for its own sake is the embodiment of evil. It's the very definition of it. So you can look at these people and say, you are evil people, and you're not exaggerating. You are being accurate.
Make sense to you, Professor Vittert?
Absolutely. What happens is these young men get in these AI relationships, and because the AI learns from you exactly what you like and you don't like, you end up having these perfect relationships.
Yeah, you see, she's mentioned it. She's admitting it. You have this perfect relationship. And we don't want men to have perfect relationships. We want them to be discontent.
So that when you go into real life and you try to have a relationship, the most human thing we can do, it's not perfect. And there's ups and downs, and they're not able to.
This is bullshit. It's not that it's imperfect. It's hostile. It's poisonous. Men's relationships with real women are poisonous. It's abusive. Now, if they really were concerned with the well-being of young guys, they would push for men to get into university and build their status. They would want guys in there and make it easy for them. No, what they are for is male abuse. They want to cut down any ability for men to gain status while demanding that to men that they gain status. It's an exercise in sadism.
Deal with these ups and downs, not only in relationships, but in life in general.
Professor Vittert, if a young man has an AI girlfriend.
You see, in life in general, you see how life in general means it all depends on the validation of women. If you can't make it with a woman, you can't make it anywhere. That's what she's saying. Women are the gatekeepers of what is good.
Is there shame in that? In other words, is this the sort of thing that you share with your buddy, or you can't?
Well, there isn't shame, but these people want there to be shame. They want to prevent this from happening.
Keeping it a secret.
It's interesting. It started off as something that was kept secret, sort of like the porn industry. Young men wouldn't talk about porn, or that was Playboy.
You see how she's conflating pornography with chatbot companions. What do they have in common? They're an outlet for men for their sexuality and their contentment. It's an outlet. They provide contentment for men. So she's against these.
It was hidden behind some house somewhere, but then it became part of the normal conversation, and that's what we're seeing with AI girlfriends.
Yeah, men have to be ashamed and hide their contentment.
Now it is becoming part of the normal conversation, and it's no longer shameful, which means it becomes significantly bigger.
I mean, you saw, I hope you saw, I don't know if you have a return monitor, but we showed, can we put up again, Jordan, can you just show the imaging? It's so sophisticated, and I'm sure it's only going to get better and better. And I'm wondering the impact that it's going to have.
Actually, that's creepy as hell. But the point is, it is going to get better and better. And the uncanny valley, as it washes away, guys are going to be more and more attracted to this.
Have it a young man's there. I'm showing one of these avatars right now. I'm also wondering, much like porn being ubiquitous, it's going to raise expectations, right? If porn is so accessible among young men, they're going to have expectations that that's, the natural course of business, when perhaps it isn't. I think
it's always this worry, like, hey, guys find contentment in these relationships. Maybe they'll find like someone who's on their side, who accepts them as who they are, and maybe they'll expect that from real life women. Men have to deal with women with the expectation that they get nothing. That's what these monsters are saying.
Say it that way. And similarly, when there's an avatar who looks like that, it too is going to set expectations. You get the final word.
You can set things down to their rear end size. So you can set anything you want, which is going to create really terrible expectations and just continue this epidemic of loneliness that has enormous repercussions.
Is it, or is it just going to destroy the loneliness, which is what you're really against? You evil, evil person. I mean, exactly. I'm not exaggerating. This is an evil person. This is her life's work. Now, we'll listen to here what she has to say here, because even though there's some repeat to it, it's still worth talking to or responding to.
AI girlfriends are ruining an entire generation of men, by Liberty Vittert, opinion contributor. The rise of virtual artificial intelligence AI girlfriends is enabling the silent epidemic of loneliness in an entire generation of young men. It is also having severe consequences for America's future.
This is a lie. What it is, it's stemming some of the loneliness, and that's her issue.
How is something that seems so ridiculous, a virtual AI girlfriend, causing a future crisis among Americans? Well, with millions of users.
Well, notice it's ridiculous for guys, but it's not considered ridiculous for girls. Girls with their AI boyfriends, they're proudly tout about it, and this woman supports it, right?
Apps have created virtual girlfriends that talk to you, love you, allow you to live out your erotic fantasies, and learn through data exactly what you like and what you don't like, creating the perfect relationship.
See, this is another thing they're against. Men having preferences and options. You like a woman with this kind of personality or physique? No, you take whatever we give you, right?
These virtual girlfriends can even be based on real people. One influencer created an...
That's important too. In other words, that girl who I was always obsessed with, who rejected me continually, here's my AI looks just like her. Now I got her. Doesn't hurt the real life girlfriend at all. But the point is, he's getting contentment. His revenge is contentment. Think about it, guys. They said, what's the best form of revenge? Living a good life. So this better low life, she is considering this a form of revenge against her. Men are living good lives. That is, and then I'm going to screw that word up. That is poison to people who live off hate.
AI bot of herself named Karen then gained over 1,000 users, i.e. real boyfriends, in less than a week, and a wait list of more than 15,000 people.
So there was 1,000 boyfriends. So in other words, these AI companions are giving men what they need, not just what they desire, what they need. This is bad.
An AI girlfriend might sound enticing. You get to connect with a super...
No, it doesn't sound enticing. It is enticing.
Super hot girl who listens to you and appreciates you 24/7. Beyond choosing physical attributes down to the size of her rear end, you can pick her personality. You prefer...
Wow. Again, why is that important? I thought men only cared about sex and what a woman looks like. Of course, these women know that that's not the case. They're projecting what they are onto us. Women don't give a shit about men's personality. They see us as types, right? But not individuals with personalities.
Or hot, funny, and bold, that's what she will be. Or if cute, shy, and modest is more your cup of tea, she's got you covered.
So these two differing personalities, there's nothing wrong with them. But what's wrong is that guys like it and might actually get access to it. That's her issue.
Yes, these are real attributes you can have your AI girlfriend embody. And to be clear, these aren't cookie-cutter chatbot interactions. By definition, the AI learns from your reactions and is capable of giving you exactly what you want to hear or see, every single time. And they have come at just the right time to assuage the silent epidemic of loneliness.
Oh, I thought they were causing it. Now she's actually admitting it's assuaging it. See, liars always contradict themselves. Always.
That is hitting this generation of young men. Let's look at the hard numbers. More than 60% of young men, ages 18 to 30, are single, compared to only 30% of women the same age.
Right. Because guys will accept women as partners. Women aren't interested in guys, so they don't. Yeah. Very simple.
1 in 5 men report not having a single close friend, a number that has quadrupled in the last 30 years.
Again, that is the only thing that's our fault. If men don't want to bother with male friendship, that's on us. Okay?
The amount of social engagement with friends dropped by 20 hours per month over the pandemic and is still decreasing. These young men are lonely, and it is having real consequences. They are choosing AI girlfriends over real women, meaning
See, hey, the consequences aren't that they're suffering from loneliness. The consequences is that they're not grinding their lives away on people who have complete contempt for them. That's her concern.
they don't have relationships with real women, don't marry them, and then don't.
That's that. Now, again, this is not in men's hands. Men can't force women to choose them. So this is in the women's ballpark.
Have and raise babies with them. America desperately needs people to have more babies, but all the signs are pointing toward fewer.
See, this is not about men being discontent. That's not what's the problem. The problem is we don't have enough babies. Now, this woman, Vetter, actually believed in what she was saying. She'd be going to women who have all the power and say, "You girls get pregnant." So this is not about that. She does not care about birth rates. This is an excuse to attack men. Men aren't throwing their lives away on women. So what you have to understand the cruelty involved in this. Her desire is to have men continuously going after women and women continually rejecting men. She gets off on the sadism. It's an ego shine to reject men. And then there's an enjoyment of men suffering. I'm telling you, that is the motivation. Everything else is window dressing.
Fewer relationships, fewer marriages, and fewer babies. There have been 600,000 fewer births in 2023 in the U.S. relative to 15 years ago. The number of children per woman has decreased by more than 50% in the last 60 years.
Again, that's 100% on women, not on men whatsoever.
Put another way, we don't have enough people to work, and therefore we won't be able to pay our bills. Not just to other countries, but to ourselves.
Not enough people to work. What are you talking about? Women are 50% of the population. Just have them do the work. Just have women do the work.
Spent more than $1.6 trillion in 2021 on Medicare and Medicaid, with the number of Americans on Medicare expected to increase by 50% by 2030 to more than 80 million people. But over the same period, we will have only 10 million more Americans joining the workforce, and that is just healthcare. In 1940,
again, I'm not going to stop it here. We don't need it because all she's doing is taking the responsibility of women and blaming men for it. Again, men are the whipping boys for the nobility. Women cause these troubles, men get beaten for it. Anyway, guys, I think I finally covered what's important. The takeaway from this whole video is that women want men to suffer. And AI threatens that. That's it. Again, these young guys here Where are they? These young guys here, they didn't commit suicide because of their AI companions. They committed suicide because society despises them for who they are, for who they were born as. And the AI simply supported their decisions. That's it. So that's all we have to say about this video.